Hello and welcome. For this video, I thought it would be a great idea to try and spread a bit of knowledge as to what to look for if you're going to grade your video games. Now, I see a lot of new people getting into graded games, purchasing graded games in the hundreds or thousands of dollars, but really having no idea why it got the grade it did, what they're even evaluating, or anything regarding the item other than, oh, it's an 85 plus, or oh, it's a VGA 90, or oh, it's a WADA 9.8. I guess it's a mint item, which, yeah, that's the whole point of grading. If you can trust that, then you have the market trust, then you have a grading company. That's how that works. But if you actually want to understand a little bit more of the nuance involved with why your item got an 80 versus an 85 versus an 85 plus, this is going to be a great primer for you. I have submitted over 150 games myself. I currently own over 100 VGA games. Once you learn the scale and what they're actually looking for, there's a lot of consistency with the grades. There's always going to be that half grade variance. That's going to exist. That's going to exist across all collectibles in all grading categories. But if you actually know what to look for and how they are going to evaluate your game, then you can properly evaluate your game and you can make an educated decision as to if you should submit it yourself. Some games are not worth grading. That's just how it is. You're going to pay more in the cost of grading fees than you're going to actually help its value. And for the purpose of this video, I'm already assuming your item is legitimately factory sealed. You don't have any kind of reproductions. I'm not going to go over how to authenticate in this video. I will release a video in the future going over seal variations, how to authenticate, how to feel confident you actually have a factory sealed game, because I know that's a point of contention for a lot of people. And if you're new to the hobby, it can be extremely difficult to try and authenticate a factory sealed game versus a resealed game. So with me, I brought my trusty stack of games that I'm going to be sending off to VGA, and these are all NES games. I'm going to create other videos where I show off some PlayStation, some Super Nintendo N64, so you can see how VGA differentiates how hard they rate certain damages based on the type of box or case that the game is in. There will also be a video where I write down every guess I made, and once the items are back from VGA, we will go through an unboxing and we will see how accurate I was with my predictions. With that out of the way, let's dive in and see just what VGA is grading based on. And I'm going to start off on the lower side of the games to show you guys what the lower end of the silver scale looks like, which goes from 75 plus up to 85. So the first game here is World Games, and from the top down view you can see looks great. But once we actually start looking at it here, and this is what you're going to have to do when you start evaluating games to grade, when we get closer in, let me just get back to lighting here, you can see that there is a crease right there. If we slide over, there is a lip right there that's peeled down, and I don't know if you can make it out, but this corner right here is fully exposed. It is ripped out, so that also is a huge detraction when you're grading. Rolling down the box here, you can see it's actually quite nice shape. And when we get down to the lower part here, we have a huge ding. Now you might say like, oh, that's not bad, like minor ding in the corner, but that alone right there puts you at the 85 mark. So you can no longer get gold. Even if the rest of the game was perfect, you would have a very slim chance of getting gold with this kind of crushing in the corner. And you can see on the side, it doesn't really hit it too much on the side, but nor does it on the bottom. But that alone is going to take you right down to the 80 mark. So, or 85 mark, sorry. But now when we add that in with this crease up here, as well as this damage over here, now we're looking at the 80 to 80 plus mark at absolute best. When we go to the sides, you can see there, that corner as well, it is exposed. We can slide it along. I don't know if you can see, but there's a very subtle creasing going right across World Games there. On all other sides of the box, you're actually going to have it be pretty clean now. No damage or creasing up here. And on the back side, you're going to have very minor corner wear up there. Going across, that corner looks pretty good. As we come down the rest of the box, pretty good corner there. And pretty good corner there. So overall, the back of the box, very nice. And that's not where you're going to get detracted from. After you've analyzed your whole box, then you have to start looking at scarring on the wrap. It's a lot harder for me to show scarring in the video here. The camera doesn't really like to capture it unless it's pretty obscene. So this particular game actually has pretty good shrink wrap. On the front here, there's a little bit of scarring you can see. Stuff like this detracts from your grade as well with VGA because they count it all as one. So even if you have a super nice box, if you have wrap that has a ton of scarring on it, you're gonna get hit. So that can take you out of the gold grade easy. Not this particular wear, but if you were to have a little hole in the wrap, even this corner, if this was your only wear on the box, was this corner up here, which is poked out of the seal. Right there you can see it's fully out of the seal and broken. That wear right there might put you at 85. You'd have a slim chance at getting an 85 plus if the rest of your box is truly mint condition, but you're probably just already taken out of the gold level. So when you're analyzing these for grading purposes, you really have to be super strict on them. This is another Milton Bradley game. You're gonna see a trend here. I was able to obtain all of these in a single purchase, which was super nice. As soon as we look at the box here, again, you can see this minor scarring on the plastic wrap. Little minor scarring there, which again will detract from the grade. Again, up here in the corner, we have a huge corner exposed. That's massive damage, unfortunately. The rest of the box, though, is actually pretty good from the front. So again, if this was your only wear up here, you have no other wear on your box except for this corner, you're probably looking at a VGA 85. But when we go to the other sides of the game here, this corner, this side, actually quite nice. When we go to this side of the box, there's a very minor crease here going down the side. Not sure if you can see it. Just a very subtle side crease. So that, combined with the front of the box, that front of the box poke plus this side subtle crease, probably already down to the 80 plus level. On top of the box again, you have a very subtle crease. I don't know if you can kind of pick it out there in the light, right there. More subtle creasing. That probably will, we're still probably in the 80 plus level, right around 80 plus 80. Go to the back of the game. You can see we have a dinged corner up here. So again, that probably takes it to the 80 level now. No more 80 plus. There's just simply too many different examples of subtle wear. And nice corners at the bottom. So you saw on this one, we have a subtle crease at the top here. There's the subtle crease on the side. There's this corner wear up here. There's scarring on the wrap, as well as there being, actually on the bottom as well, there's another subtle crease here. You can see it. It's tough to show, but those all combined are going to put this right all around VGA 80. Now, you might get lucky and get an 80 plus, and you might get unlucky and get the 75 or 75 plus. When you have those varying amounts of wear, that's where you're going to fall, is in that silver level. And you looking at it from the front and even from the back, you'd be like, wow, that's in mint condition. But once you start getting into the grading part of it, they knock you so hard so fast. And again, Milton Bradley, we have Marble Madness. Now this one's later print, you can see, big old circle seal there. This also comes in round seal. So Marble Madness, we'll just start at the top here. You can see from the front, actually pretty nice condition here as we go down the box. Nothing too much to look at. Go to the side. Really clean condition. So from the two sides already, oh, there we go. You can see right there, we have a big ding. And this ding is probably gonna, yep, all along the bottom there. So immediately, we have this ding, we're down to the 85 level. It's very, very, very unlikely you'd get 85 plus with that kind of damage. So then let's start at the top of the box, and we come over here. We have another exposed corner. A little rip in the wrap there. So we might still get 85 with that. Probably not, honestly. You probably wouldn't get the 85. You'd probably go down to 80 plus just with those two things, but you never know. You're right on the fringe there. You can see on this side too, quite nice. And then we just have the bottom of the box and the top of the box. So for this, given that it only actually has this corner damage over here, which is bad, but it's not quite as bad as the damage was on Abadox, or the first one. That was the worst corner damage. This damage, not terrible. And then you also have this exposed corner up here. So my guess on this one would be 80 plus. I don't think it would get the 85. I'd be hoping for the 85, but I don't see it would happen. Because you also have to add in the subtle scarring on the wrap that I can't really show. But most all of your NES games and old, like when you get to this oldness of game, in the vintage games, you're just gonna have this like scarring on the wraps. Very common, but you're gonna get dinged for it. So the next one we have here is Cabal, and coming from the top down, you can see that it's actually quite nice. There's a very subtle crease here in the corner, but if you were to look at this front on and say that was the only wear the game had, this actually could be an 85 plus. However, once we start going to the sides, you can see over here that we have ding damage, and when you take to the back of the game, you can see that this whole side is creased inwards, and this corner is dinged over here, and up here you also have it pushed in and creased. So now we have 3 spots of distinct wear, and if we come over to this side, very subtle creasing. Not sure if you can see it, but there, the light shows it well. You can see how the light rides the crease. So a subtle crease on the side there too. So when you put all of this together, you're out of the 85s automatically. There's no hope of that. There's actually also pretty bad scarring on the front of the box here that I can show. You can see that there? That's bad scarring. That'll get you knocked as well, quite badly. When you put everything together on this one having noticeable damage from the side, super small crease right over here, damage at the top of the box, some damage at the bottom of the box, damage on this side of the box, and a subtle crease going right along this side of the box. This is probably in the 75 to 75 plus range. I don't think this would go 80. Like, you'd be looking at 80 on the upside. So if this came back a VGA 80, I'd be super happy. That'd be great, fantastic. But I'm probably expecting the 75, 75 plus. And remember, I'm gonna put all of these into a spreadsheet, and once we get them back, we'll review and see how close I was with all the guesses. And the last NES game here I want to show, which is actually a better condition one now, so we can start seeing what it takes to break into that upper echelon of VGA. So we have another Milton Bradley. I'm not sure if this is every Milton Bradley game. It might be. I can't remember though, but we have Digger T Rock, Legend of the Lost City. Move over a little bit here. You can see from the front there actually isn't any kind of discernible wear to it. We have scarring at the top there. Very common with any NES games. Top of the game, you can see. No actual creasing or damage. The sides follow suit. No actual creasing or damage. Oh, what's this? Right up there, you can see little ding. So if we take it to the back of the box now, you can see right there in the corner. It wants to load for me right there. Very little corner ding. But whenever someone says a corner ding, that's what a corner ding is. It's not crushed, it's just very minor damage. You can see the rest of the box, very clean condition overall. So when you get down to this kind of condition now, it comes into more of the scarring on the box. You can see there's 2 scratches and scars. And on the front there was that little bit of scarring as well. Bottom of the box, also super clean. So we have this little ding right here, which keeps it automatically out of the 90 range. You can't score a 90 with that. Maybe if you were pulling this out of an uncirculated case and you had perfect shrink wrap and everything else, then maybe you could get a 90 with that little ding. But given that this is just a normal game and you have the front scarring right here that's obvious, you have the ding on the back, this is probably 85 plus. If they grade it harder, if I miss anything, any kind of subtle creasing, ding, bad scarring, little hole, etc., 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 it'll fall to 85. If those are truly the only two things wrong with it, this scarring, this little ding, a little bit of back scarring, then it should be in the 85 plus level. That's how difficult it is to break into that. You really have to have... they are superb items. You can feel confident buying most 85 pluses that you're getting a game that is actually in mint condition. So there you have it. I wish I had examples of the VGA 90 scale with NES, but it is just so difficult to have one there. That Digger T Rock that I showed is what almost everyone would call mint condition, and it's still borderlining the 85 plus. That could very likely come back in 85, and I wouldn't flinch. I'd be like, ah, damn. But now, hopefully, if you're looking at an item, you can kind of evaluate that 75 to 90 range, because that's where 90% of submitted items are going to fall. Now, you can go below the 75, but at that point, you're grading more for your own pleasure than you are for any kind of added benefits of the grade. Like, you're always going to get the benefit of preservation and having it safe, but those items are probably not going to just inflate in value because they're graded. You're not going to be able to pop onto eBay and sell it at a premium simply because it has a VGA 70 slapped on it. It'll be easier to sell. You take a raw item and a VGA 70, the 70 will probably sell most of the time if they're at the same value and close in visual condition. However, for most purposes, you want to at least try to hit that 75 scale. So the only thing I couldn't show off is if you have a big hole in the item. Now, I showed off some minor corner nicks and issues such as that, but if you actually get a game where there is a hole, say, this big, and it is, you know, on the front, back, side, it doesn't matter, you are looking at a VGA 80 at absolute best. So even if you have a mint box, but on your wrap you have a hole this size, you are going to get a VGA 80. They take the grade and they put it together. Your wrap and your box are one. WATA separates the two, VGA leaves them together. So just know that if you're looking at your item and you're like, wow, this is mint condition, I'm gonna get a VGA 90, make sure you do not have any kind of holes. Make sure you clean it and make sure it's authentic. Hopefully you learned something from the video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did, and I will see you in the next video.